You're welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. iBrand Daybreak. Moving on to the next conversation that we're bringing you this morning. Of course, women entrepreneurs are active agents of change to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Despite recent progress in strengthening women's entrepreneurship, significant differences in the number of women and men as owners and managers of micro enterprises and small and medium enterprises persist. However, owning and managing a business remains a male-dominated territory. Globally, only less than 1 in 5 businesses have a woman as their top manager. Only 1 in 3 businesses have a woman among their principal owners, and women are the sole or majority owners of less than 15% of businesses. To have this conversation with us is Chizoba Akunne. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You have a very, very warm smile.
Oh my God. That's nice. Refreshing to hear.
Contagious.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So we're talking about women in business today. I don't want to say unfortunately, because we have made progress actually, if we're going to be honest. But it is still beyond par, below par, excuse me. It is still below par. And let us take an analysis, examine the female entrepreneurship development before now, during our mother's time. You cannot even tell your mother that you want to own a business as a woman. Like, how will men now come and be asking for a hand in marriage? You know, those kind of conversations used to come in. But like I said, we've made progress. So now you have women running businesses and doing great at it. However, how do you react to the point where we are at now, you know, for women in business? And what would be your submission for the future?
Okay, the truth is that, yes, we're making giant strides, but we're still very low in our productivity. We don't have much women representations. Like, when you say women are in business, what's the percentage of the income or the GDP that comes from their business? What's that contribution that they're making? So we do not have, yes, we've had giant strides, like over the years, we've had women going to open their companies, you know, taking that bold step and all. But the truth remains that we are still far below what is expected. And, you know, it's amazing that it's not just in Nigeria that we're having that issue. This is a global issue because you have more of men having all the opportunities to go into businesses and they have all the support that they need. Whereas women were still lacking that support. And then you also have to consider the fact that we have a lot of things, the care, family care, and different things that are weighing down on us that the men do not actually have. So when you consider that, you see that, yes, we're trying, we're moving forward, but we are not there yet. We are not there yet.
So what are these reasons that makes you think we're not there yet? Because some school of thought would say that, yeah, if you empower a woman, you are empowering about 4 generations or thereabout. Okay, then now looking at it from the angle of women who multitask. Okay. A lot of persons will say that if you empower a woman, for instance, you give the woman, you know, some sort of empowerment to be able to set up a business, she might end up being distracted because of she's got so much attention to give. For instance, the home, the parent, perhaps the one whom she's thinking about a relationship and all of that. Could that be one of the hindrance to their being empowered?
Okay, so when they say you empower a woman, you empower the society. Yeah. The truth of the matter is what you're talking about is you see those women in the market that they open a small kiosk for. That is what they mean by saying you empower a woman, you empower the society, right? So she's just doing the back and front, the going around the circle, 10 years, she's still there. Maybe she adds another kiosk to her store. But that's actually not what we're talking about, because how much can she really contribute to the nation? And when you don't have economic power, it's going to be very difficult for you to have political power, right? So that's another thing you have to consider. And then also, a woman, you know, she has to take out time when she has to maybe get pregnant, go on maternity leave, which men do not have.
which also impacts on it.
It also impacts on her.
Yeah.
And then what about education? Yes, we are having more women, you know, striving to go to school, doing all we can. But when you look at it from mid-level management to upper-level management, you find out that that space is taken mostly by men because they have all the support that they need. For example, say a woman wants to go to a business school and a man wants to go to a business school in a family. Everybody will say, okay, why don't we allow him go first? And then when he goes and he comes back, you will go. You understand what we're talking about? So that's basically what we're talking about. So the society has been rigged against the woman, going beyond a level that they have put. It's like there is this ceiling, there's this glass ceiling that you can't go beyond it. And also another thing that the society does is that they try to pitch women against themselves. And I'm so happy that we have different women organizations coming up to say, okay, let's come together as women. Let's talk together as women. Because everything is not in our favor. You know, I was speaking somewhere 3 weeks ago, and it was on this same issue. And I told them, let's not deceive ourselves. This is a man's world. It's a man's world. Everything has been rigged against us. But then we have to come together to say, okay, how do we go beyond this? Do we have to form partnerships? What do we have to do to be able to find
I'm sorry
ourselves?
to cut you short, Zoba, because that was actually going to form the next question that I'll ask you about these partnerships and, you know, other things that can be put in place to help make this movement move further, if you want to say it that way. But we'll go on a quick break, and then when we return, we'll take the conversation from there. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We're still having this conversation on women entrepreneurs. So before we went on that break, you were saying something about partnerships. And okay, at some point in, you know, advocacy and movements like this, the conversation was send your girls to school. So it's like everybody now said, so people want to go to school. Oh yeah, girls go to school. I grew up in a home of teachers, right? And if you ask an average teacher today in Nigeria, they'll tell you that there are more girls in their class than there are boys these days. How that is a win, I kind of have a problem with it because everybody deserves to go to school. But that is, by the way, it is a win if you look at it from where we're coming from, where girls didn't used to go to school. But that was people's work, people put in that work to create that, you know, awareness, make that noise, and, you know, broke that ceiling, if I'm to borrow your word. Now we are at another level, another fight that we're currently fighting, which is we need more women in places of management. We need more women in governance. We need more women, you know, in top tier organizations. We don't see a lot of that. You were telling us about, you know, collaborations. Please further it.
Okay, so I believe that when women come together, it's easier for our voices to be heard. Now, this thing that we're looking at, it didn't just start today, right? Like, I was watching a video clip of, I think it was 1970 something, and they were asking students in schools, what is your take on a woman working? And, you know, most of the guys were like, no, let her stay at home and take care of the kids. And that person was like, he doesn't have a problem with women working as long as you're not running for presidency or something. Like, so it's the same thing. It's the way we have been brought up. So what we're saying is, let's come together. In the instance of politics, let's put our money together. Let's send someone there. But you see, our brain has been rigged in such a way that even if we contribute our money and send a woman there, what the men will simply do is look for someone who is an avid supporter, right? Pick her husband for that same political post, and then you see that she will change automatically to say, let me support my husband. So that's the truth of what we have. So if we can come together and say, okay, this is it. It has been rigged against us. But the truth of the matter is, look at COVID-19. Every country that had women running them, they didn't have as much casualty as the ones that had men running them. It's a fact that women are more holistic when they're looking at situations. And when we talk about businesses, you don't have to own your business alone. You can co-own it. Look for another woman who has a strength that you're lacking and bring her up on your board, because these are things that men do.